You guys keep talking about keywords. What are they, and how do I even know what I should be doing with that? Hey everyone, welcome back to Local SEO Tactics. I'm Jesse Dolan, joined with Bob Brennan. And just like each week, we're here to share with you some tips and tricks to help you grow your local service business online and rank at the top of search engines. And this week, we're going to be talking more about keywords. The last few episodes, we've talked about how to build web pages, how to approach your website, and construct all that. And we've probably referenced keywords as a phrase dozens, if not 100 times. And we definitely want to jump back into it for this week and start talking about what are keywords, just to make sure everybody really understands that and really flesh it out. So what we mean when we say keywords is it's whatever people are typing into Google to search for the products and services that you want to be found for. So I think in previous episodes, we've talked about oil changes, right? For like a vehicle service station. If oil changes, that's 2 words. That's a keyword, right? I mean, we use the phrase keyword very loosely. It can be a phrase or words. A question we fielded is, how do I know what keywords to pick, right? You guys keep talking about keywords. What are they, and how do I even know what I should be doing with that? So Bob posed the question a few episodes ago of how many web pages, right, does your business need on average, which is kind of an open-ended question and answer there that you can get. Similarly is how many keywords should I go after? For any given page, you want to go after 1 to 2 keywords. But for your site in general and for your business, it's really whatever your products and services are, right? So if we use our example of the service center, if you provide oil changes, radiator repair, transmission repair, those are all keywords. Now, any individual page on your website, you're going to want to focus, just on one of those phrases, or you can have a couple of variations in there about that. But at the end of the day, that's really what we're talking about is kind of one product or one service niche. And that in turn becomes the keyword that you're going after. These keywords are going to have lots of variations. Could be plurals or even misspellings. So if you're going to sit down and try to figure out what keywords should I be putting on my website, what keywords do I want to focus on? First place to start, just start making a list, of what it is that you sell or what it is that you service. And you're going to have a great head start on it. So what you don't want to do is get trapped by the curse of knowledge, right? All of us in our businesses, we have different phraseologies and keywords, right? That we use to describe things. That doesn't mean that that's what the person on the other end of the keyboard is going to be searching for, Joe Consumer. So you want to make sure you take that into account.
Yeah, recently we had, you've heard this in other episodes, but my furnace went out, when it's in Minnesota, when it's 20 below, it's kind of not a good thing. So yeah, so I typed in heater repair, where the industry says, I work in the HVAC industry. Now, inside industry, you're going to use the term HVAC, and maybe a lot of consumers are going to use HVAC. I personally typed in furnace repair. So furnace repair is an example of that. So, with your keyword search into this, but basically, you want to be deliberate about those specific search terms and how you go about doing that. So linguistics is I guess the phrase you want to study here, and really kind of sit down and say, okay, how would I phrase it, and then how would my clients phrase it, or and you can really get nitty gritty with this in that depending on their income, how they're going to phrase it. Not that you want to get in that position, but in some ways you do because you want a certain type of clientele.
Absolutely. I mean, the more, research and thought you can put into choosing these keywords is going to be very important, because this is what you're crafting your message around. Right. This is what you're intending to be found for. Probably a good example of how to put that into real world practice is it's all about context, I guess, really is what I'm trying to say. So falling back on your furnace repair example, there's furnace repair. There's furnace service. Yep. I mean, what am I doing here? Is it an emergency, right? Is it an emergency furnace repair? Different, words before and after that core product or service that you're wanting to promote definitely come into play for who the person is, yep, why they're searching for you, and what their situation is.
And how you're going to design your landing page. So obviously, like in your furnace example, if it's furnace or emergency furnace repair, obviously that landing page better speak to, hey, you're going to be there, honest with it. But and that's how you're going to craft that. Excuse me, how you're going to craft that specific page.
Yeah, because going back to like we talked in previous episodes about how to craft your web page for conversions, right? It's one thing we want to pick our keywords and develop our pages to be found in the search engines. Can't overstate that enough. But once somebody clicks on there, we want to turn that into business. So you've got to speak to their context using the words that they would use, using the phraseology and the contextual situations, that they're in. If somebody's looking to make a decision right now today, they better darn well be able to contact you, right? Yeah. Right now today and take that action. And you got to be there to, of course, receive that as well. But if you're not conveying that, in this case, again, we'll fall back on the emergency furnace repair. If it doesn't look like it's fast service, or you're not, talking about maybe 24/7 or be there in 1 hour or things like that. Even if you're ranking high, for that emergency furnace repair, you're not going to get that business or at least the opportunity to get that business with a phone call. So definitely take that into account. If you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, geez, I've got furnace repair. I could do emergency furnace repair. I could do fast furnace repair. I could do 24/7 furnace repair. What do I pick? All of them. It would be the answer is all of them. You can create multiple pages for furnace repair. If you're on your website and you up at your main menu, you've got the services you provide listed, your water heater repair, furnace repair, things like that. If that's what you do, you're not going to want to have 3 different buttons. One that says fast furnace repair, one that says 24/7 furnace repair, and one that says emergency furnace repair. You're going to want to pick one of those for the primary page that's listed on your website that people will navigate to, right? But you can also create pages for those other keyword phrases. Those won't be found when people navigate your website, but they will be found when they're searching in the search engines. And I think the progression we're trying to at least stumble through, however effectively we are here or not, is start with the products and services that you sell, and that you offer. And then you got to kind of widen out from there, right? Yeah. So examples, we're talking what specific brands, are you providing the service on or are you selling? What situation is the person on the other end of the keyboard in, for some of the phraseology they're going to be using? Again, expedited, emergency, next day, things like that. And you start mashing those things together. One keyword can turn into a dozen or multiple dozens of possibilities. You might be thinking to yourself, well, it's all furnace repair. Yeah. It is all furnace repair, but people are looking for different things. And just like we've talked in previous episodes, again, when we're talking about these keywords, you're using these keywords in these phrases in your headlines, right? Your images, you're saving your image files as incorporating these keywords. The page text, you want to have these keywords mixed in 3 to 4 times. You want the title of the page and the name of the page to incorporate these keywords. Again, you're going to have multiple versions of these pages attacking a similar niche, the furnace repair, but don't be afraid of that. A little disclaimer here too. If you have your base page furnace repair and you want to make 9 variations of it, you can't just copy and paste everything. You can't duplicate the content. That ain't going to work. It's going to sabotage everything. You want to recreate those pages, but you can start with the same template. Like here's the things I know I want to stress. How many technicians do I have? When am I going to get there? How do my customers usually feel when I'm done with the service? You want to relay those same things, but you're going to have to craft some unique content on each page to not be duplicating it, but you're absolutely going to want to go after, all those different variations on the keywords. So once you kind of got your complete list of, what you refer to things as, what the industry speak is, and what that voice of the customer is, at least your best assumption, before you really go to town actually creating these pages, you're going to want to go out and see what's the most popular. Eventually you're going to want to optimize and go after all these keywords. But if you only have so much time in the day, as we all do, you got to start somewhere. And where should you start? Most situations, it's going to be the most popular keywords. I can't think of anything offhand right now where you'd want to attack the lower end first. You usually want to go for what's the most popular. But to help you make those decisions, whatever your strategy is going to be, the best tool out there is the Google Keyword Research Tool. It's completely free. You do have to sign up for a Google AdWords account for that, and we'll put a link in the show notes. The actual URL for that is adwords.google.com, and you're going to go there. If you already have an account, great. Otherwise, you got to sign up for an AdWords account. If you've already created, like we talked in previous episodes, your Google My Business pages, use that same Google login. So whatever your Google profile is for that, use the same thing, but you got to go to adwords.google.com, set up an account there. So once you get in there, you go into the Google dashboard. There'll be a little wrench, like tools, right, is what they're trying to say. Yep. A little wrench icon up in the top right corner. Click on that. Under the planning section, which is usually all the way to the left, you're going to look for the keyword planner tool. Click on that and just start typing in some of your keywords, right? If you already have a list, copy paste them, or I believe it's comma separated. So, furnace repair, comma, heater repair. Plug those in and hit the button, and you're going to be provided some feedback with Google on what the popularity of these are. They're going to show you how many searches on average per month based on the location that people are searching for. So you'll be able to compare these keywords that you're trying to attack right next to each other to find out what are the most popular. It'll show you desktop searches. It'll show you by mobile searches. And then you can drill down by location too. If you want to see nationwide, go ahead. If you want to just look in your local market, you can drill down to just that too. We always say start by going nationwide. I should back up on that. As long as your product or service is applicable nationwide, up here in Minneapolis, Twin Cities area, we have furnaces. Not everybody. Does everybody have a furnace?
Nah, probably. I mean,
before I say that, but
well, not everybody. Like down south, they have what are they called, heat exchangers.
Right.
So it's not a full blown furnace. It's kind of a hybrid type deal, but
right. So there's some phraseology depending on where you're at.
That's a good point.
Right. So take that into account. But before you just jump in to say, I just want to look in Minneapolis for how many people, per month are searching for furnace repair. We caution you not to do that because as long as the geographics don't take into too much consideration on what people are going to be searching for, it's better to get that wide volume. It's better to get as many people in your audience as possible to kind of get this feedback and get this gauge. Because if you drill down into too small of a market, you just might be missing some of that. Or the results, Google doesn't tell you exactly, like 2,412 people search for this. They use round chunks, right? They level them up. So what you don't want to do is drill down into a small geographic zone and just have a bunch that says, 20 people a month. And you really can't distinguish, which keywords are more popular than others. So if you widen that audience and just search by the whole United States, if you can, you're going to get a little more variation in the popularity of those and give you a little bit accurate bead. If you do that and you feel you do need to be a little more nuanced for whatever your particular product or service is, then drill down into your local market or a tighter zone and get that feedback. But again, Google's going to show you all the terms. They're going to show you the popularity of them, and they're also going to show you some recommendations. So this is where you can say, I've done all my research. I've kind of racked my brain, and maybe you've done the old deal where you ask your relatives and your friends and people what they might search for. Google's going to give you that same kind of deal.
So what I did just for the Twin Cities to, and some of this stuff we've done here in the Twin Cities is I've taken that nationwide search, and for the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, I applied a number of 1.8%.
Okay.
So I believe, and somebody can correct us on that, just let us know, but I did the math and took our metropolitan population, divided it into the nationwide population, and came up with that percentage. So if your city is big enough or your metropolitan area is big enough, you can kind of do the same thing. Just
Absolutely.
Take your metropolitan population, divide it into, again, the nationwide population, and come up with that percentage, and then apply it to the nationwide Google search. Now, you got to be careful there because you want to make sure it's United States, not North America. So if it's North America, it's going to include Canada, our neighbors to the north. So, that's one way of coming up with a rough idea. And there's more numbers to it that we figure out. So what we try to do is obviously get to the top, but then when we're at the top, we understand that we should be getting a percentage of that number. It gets kind of funky, but it gives us some idea how we're tracking, how good we're doing. Can we do more? Can we convert more? Can we get more calls and everything that goes with it? But I don't know. Hopefully that helps you all out.
Yeah, if there's 1,000 people in your market searching for that term and you're just getting no calls for it, you check, you're going to see you're not ranking high for it, right?
Yeah.
And if you're ranking high for it, let's say you're in top spot or top 2 or 3 spots for a term that's popular, a term that is that popular, and you're still getting no calls, that's when you're going to want to go back and look at your conversion for your pages. Like, what do you say? Like. Yeah, are people actually clicking on your link and taking action or not? But that does help you get a gauge really on, again, the popularity of that keyword. when you're in the Google Keyword Planner doing this kind of research, you're also going to find on the left-hand side, they have a little checkbox, right? So as you're going through this, again, it's going to show you what your keywords were. It's also going to show you keywords that are similar, according to Google at least. Right. You can sort them by popularity, so you can look at the top down and get inspired with more ideas or more variations that you need to go after. And then you can check mark the box on the left-hand side, and you can actually download these as a CSV file or as an Excel file, if you will. So you don't have to copy all these and write them down. You can do the research, download it into a spreadsheet. It'll give you the searches, the number of searches, so you can have that quantifiable information and review it later. The cool part is you can do this multiple times, and this is something that we do as well. So let's say you start with, let's just pick a number 7 keywords that you plug in. You get your volumes and get some recommendations for similar keywords by Google. And maybe now you have a list of 20 keywords that you download. You're going to find if you take those 20 keywords, start the process over, plug those into Google to get the recommendations again, you're going to open up maybe another set of keywords that Google didn't provide you before for recommendations, because now they're saying, okay, what's similar to these 20 keywords
right.
that you're looking for, where before they were saying what's similar to these 7. The more you can put in there, you're going to be more descriptive, drilling down. And I would give you the practice that we use of trying to group these. So if we go back to our company that we're doing furnace repair on, if I'm doing research on keywords for furnace repair, if I also do, water heater repair, water heater installs, I'm going to do 2 different searches on those. I'm not going to mash all those in together because Google's going to get a little confused on what it's trying to give me for recommendations, because I'm kind of all across the board. So you may do this multiple times, trying to figure out what kind of keywords you're going to attack for your website. But that's fine. This is very valuable information. Don't try to do it fast. This is an area that it's great to spend a lot of time on, because you're going to get exposed to things you didn't even know. That's how somebody searches for that product or service. Yeah. What the heck? Whoever does that, and it's pretty surprising, but you know what? You'd miss out on that. And if you don't group these into kind of like phrases or like products or services, again, Google's not going to have the brain power to figure out exactly what you're trying to do. They're going to give you some kind of superficial stuff, spreading pretty thin, and you're just not going to get those deep insights. So definitely take that. Again, it's completely free. It is an AdWords account.
Yeah.
So down the road, you're already set up if you want to do some pay-per-click stuff, but you don't have to be participating in AdWords to use this tool. It's free, and it's right there for you to use. And there's a lot of other tools out there. If you just Google, if you go to Google or Bing or any search engine and you do a search for free keyword tool or things like that, you're going to get a ton of resources. There's just a lot of options out there. At the end of the day, a lot of them draw this information from Google. And also at the end of the day, I would rather get my information direct from Google, the one that we're all doing the searches in. I wouldn't want to go to a third party for all the best deals. So there's some products and services out there that say they'll save you time and kind of help you make those decisions. But as business owners, we kind of know, what we're going after. Maybe down the road, if you're really hitting this and you want to utilize a third party tool to help you make these decisions, I think that's great. But start off by going right to the horse's mouth on this, get the research from Google and use that as at least your first wave of what you're going to implement. So I guess one last thing we should note that Google's going to show you in this, and even if they don't, something to consider and challenge yourself with is misspellings, right? Yeah. And kind of just different ways people might say the same thing.
Yeah, one example is countertops, and count on me, the dyslexic, to give you insight on this. But at any rate, the countertops can be spelled 2 different ways. Yeah. It can be one word, countertop as one word, and then as 2 words. So absolutely. Autocorrect will kill you doing this. But you can play with that a little bit, or even research it yourself. Doing various searches to find out other examples. In every industry is a little different.
Yep.
How you spell it. And another example, again, I use this a lot, but it's crescent wrench, adjustable wrench, monkey wrench.
Yep.
3 different terms for essentially the same thing, depending on your education level, your income level, and your geography where you're located.
Absolutely.
Right? So
slang terminology, for sure.
But you get the general idea. You just want to, where you need to put a little bit of thought into it, right, and apply those terms accordingly. Yep. So,
no, if you're not doing it, you're going to be missing out on part of your audience.
Right.
If you're just falling back on your conventions and what you would call it or what people in the industry call it, that's great. Go ahead and take that route, but you're going to be missing what the people out there are actively searching for, and you can get this information on what they're actually typing in straight from Google.
Right.
So,
And I would throw this out too. Basically, don't get overwhelmed by this.
No.
So as we dive into the minutia of this, the important thing is get started.
Yep.
Get this stuff going, and then as you find time, dial some of these tactics in there.
Right.
So you're going to want to, again, get started, go back and listen to this a couple times and say, okay, what did he say about this? We're not trying to overwhelm you with information. We're just trying to, get you to get started, but then go back and dial it in a little
right.
bit.
Yeah. That's a great point, Bob. You can make your page for furnace repair.
Yeah.
And you're good to go. And you got that up on your website. You can come back later and figure
Right.
out variations and tweak it from there. And even further, piggybacking on that, none of this is a one-round deal. If you do this and you're just super rigorous, great. Come back next quarter or 6 months later and do the research again. Things change. There's pop culture. There's new products or services that hit the market that change what people are referring to. There's another really cool tool put out by Google. It's Google Trends, it's called. And it's actually at, what is it here? trends.google.com. And that's going to show you, what things are becoming popular. You can literally see certain phraseologies that are taking off and kind of giving that hockey stick popularity. Hey, if something in there applies to your business, you're gonna want to attack that and get out
Right.
there in front of everybody else and lead the pack. So we can wrap up this week and just really what Bob said. Don't be intimidated. Take action. Revisit it and have this be something that you're really doing over and over. It's not a one and done deal. And that's how you're going to stay on top and stay ahead of the competition. So as always, drop us a line on the show page, intrix.com/show. And we'd love to hear what you think. And until next week,
We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Hey, Jesse Dolan here again with you. Sharing another 5-star review that we got. This one here from Jackie Bernardi. She says, yes, this. And 3 exclamation marks. Thanks for that, Jackie. She says, local SEO can be so challenging. I have so many clients that need this information. I'll be sharing this podcast with all of them. Jackie, we really appreciate that. You're right. Local SEO is challenging. We have lots of clients ourselves, and we're putting this show together to share this knowledge. We really hope we're breaking this down in a nice bite-sized chunks that anybody can take advantage of. So absolutely love it. Thanks for the great review. Everybody else, if you want to leave us a review, we'd love to hear it. You can go on out to intrix.com/iTunes. And that's going to bring you over to iTunes and you can leave us a review. Let us know what you think. If you're liking it, we'd love to hear it. And I also wanted to mention again, as we talked about in the show, definitely take advantage of our free SEO audit. Go to intrix.com, click on the button for the free SEO audit. It takes about 15 seconds. It's going to show you the good, bad, and the ugly with your website. You just plug in your page, put the keyword you want to be found for and what you want to analyze against, and it's going to give you a great report with a checklist of things that you got to take care of, scores and grades for each critical area of the SEO, and you can use it as many times as you want. And it's also going to email you a PDF of that report too instantly. So check it out. If you got some comments or some feedback you want to leave us, go to intrix.com/show and just let us know what you think, or if you want us to tackle a topic in a future episode. See you guys next week.